This video is brought to you by A Better Route Planner, the route planner for EVs. Hundreds of cars are supported. Choose your configuration, plan your route with the charging network that you want to prefer or charging networks that you want to avoid. If you're a premium member, you can use real-time weather forecast and traffic information, and you can also use A Better Route Planner in your car with Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Use the link in the description to support the channel and use A Better Route Planner Premium for 30 days for free. 1.5 years ago, I knew that I would need my next car. I had my ID.3 First Edition Plus for 3 years, and this was what the leasing was for, 3 years exactly. In September of 23, I needed a new car. And for my next car, there were a few things that I wanted. Bigger battery, more range, better charging, and more power. And what I was hoping for was all-wheel drive and more comfort. And you know me, I got Hank my ID.7 Pro because in the beginning when the car came out you couldn't get the all-wheel drive version, and this now is the all-wheel drive version. And so I didn't want to wait. This came out half a year later. So the question is, should I have waited for the GTX, or am I okay with my just Pro Hank? Design wise, yes, the GTX looks better. I like the grille of the GTX, and especially my ID.7 is so old that the logo in the front and in the rear doesn't illuminate when you turn it on, when the light is on. Here it does that already, but that came later. So when you order an ID.7 Pro now or Pro S, it doesn't matter which ID.7, logo front and rear are illuminated. But when I got the car, that didn't exist yet. Color wise, it doesn't have to be that red that this car is. I'm fine with the blue. What you get with the GTX is the bigger battery. So my ID.7 has a 77 kilowatt hours usable. This has a 86 kilowatt hours usable. Since it's an all-wheel drive, you have higher consumption, and because the battery is bigger, I tested Hank against an ID.7 Pro S. It's also higher consumption just because it's more weight. The 77 to 86 is a bit heavier, and that means every time you accelerate, you have to use more power to accelerate the car and keep it up to that speed. And with the GTX, because we have a second motor in front, even though if you're not using it, if you drive constant speed, it still has to spin and you have loss. So you have higher consumption. The range is though still higher here in this big battery GTX. But let's get to the negative points that the GTX has over my ID.7 Pro. Number one is the price. When I configure my ID.7 now with the same configuration, and I configure this car with the same configuration, so the same features, so no glass roof, I don't need that and stuff like this, 19-inch wheels, and so this car costs 6,000 euros more just for a bigger battery and all-wheel drive. The second thing is the interior. I'm not the biggest fan of dark interiors. I like it a bit bright. I don't need it in white, but my seats are just way brighter, and I don't know, I don't like the darkest interior ever. It's just it's just not my thing. I find it very depressing. I want a bit of brightness. I don't need the white steering wheel and everything, and the red accents here with the red stitching looks nice, but overall I like my interior way better. If I would have waited a few months, I would have gotten my ID.7 or this GTX with ID software 5.0, but since I had to get it as early as possible on December 15th, which is, by the way, in a few days, it has been exactly a year. It was a Friday, I remember that. I have 4.01 on it, and I still haven't gotten an over-the-air update or an update at all. Yeah, and here we have 5.0. It has more features, it looks better. Would just be nice to have the newest software. I would love to have the traction drive mode here. That would be amazing to have all 4 wheels. So I haven't been in snow with Hank, but I remember with my ID.3 Walter that I had a lot of spinning wheels, and it's not amazing on snow. Especially since Volkswagen, when the wheels are spinning, you can't get any power there, and then you just stand there, nothing's happening. And with traction and all-wheel drive, it's just better. Would be awesome. Maybe it's better in the snow. I haven't driven it in the snow, most likely won't, but just would be nice to have. One big thing where this car is not good at all, and I don't get it. I think that the fabric here in the seats is different. It looks the same, the form is the same, but the fabric is different, because the seat heater on 3, it's warm and it will be fine for most people, but for me it's not good. So in Hank, when I turn the seat heater on 3, after 10-15 minutes I have to turn it down, it's too hot. I love that. And here I can have it on 3 for a long time. So the heat, I'm guessing it's the same heating element, just it has to go through the fabric, and the fabric is different, and therefore it doesn't heat up as much as the normal seat heater. Another thing I'm not the biggest fan of in the GTX is the wider turning circle. So it's not gigantically more when you look at the number, but when I'm in my driveway, parking into the garage, out of the garage, I just notice it. It's different, it's more, and it's just nice to have an amazing turning circle and to be able to maneuver with this gigantic car in a very easy way. Also, what's very, very negative is the force you need to steer. In this car, in drive mode comfort, when the steering should be the easiest, it's not different in Eco. There's only sport where it gets harder, and then comfort, the most comfortable, where it should be the easiest. It's very heavy steering. For Volkswagen, this is the heaviest steering I've ever noticed in any Volkswagen, and I don't like it at all. It needs a lot of force. Again, when you go out of your driveway, when you drive around here, this takes a lot of force. In my ID.7, it's nothing. It's not horrible. There are way other cars that have way heavier steering, and it's still amazingly precise and everything, and stable, but it's just heavier. And I get it in sport mode, but in comfort mode it's just way too heavy. I don't like it. Something I also noticed in here, and that I don't have in my ID.7, is when you are in sport mode, and I've noticed this in the Born VZ too, in the Cupra Born VZ, the regen is extremely strong, fast. So it is the same strength as in the normal ID.7, but it comes in extremely fast when you get off the accelerator pedal. And when you are in sport mode and you're driving a constant speed and you need a bit of regen, a bit of power, it's an uncomfortable drive. It feels like, okay, there's the power, I'm just moving a tiny bit, there's a lot of regen. It's not nice. In my ID.7 that doesn't exist. So even right now I just went off the accelerator pedal a tiny bit and I was slowing down. It's not horrible. Again, it's not horrible, but I know ID.7 is extremely comfortable and nice to drive, and this is not nice. Yes, you don't have to drive in sport mode, I get it, but in my car in sport mode this doesn't exist. I don't have extremely strong regen. Again, it's the same strength, but it comes in way faster. So usually you get a bit of regen when you get off the accelerator pedal, and the more regen you get off. And here it's there very fast. So I just got off a tiny bit and I slow down a lot. And the same when I press on the accelerator pedal to accelerate. That's, again, I get it, it's a sporty thing, but I cannot recommend driving normal in sport mode. So you have to switch. In my, I can drive sport mode all the time, it's fine. So yes, the power is nice. It's nice that it's better in the corners. The traction, I'm sure, is nice in the snow. But do I need it? I don't need the better cornering. I'm not a corner driver. I don't do races. I'm not going on racetracks and stuff like this. I want it comfortable. I want the steering light as it is in my ID.7. Yes, the bigger battery is nice to have more range, but I don't know, I'm fine with my ID.7. Charging too, this charges better than my ID.7, Hank, but I know. I'm very happy with Hank, and I'm glad I didn't wait for this. What I'm really envious about are the Volkswagen logos in the front and in the rear, that they don't light up on my car. Damn it. If you want to follow me on Instagram, BatteryLife1, and if you want to support the channel, there's a Patreon link in the description below, and here on YouTube there's also channel membership. And if you want to know what's happening behind the scenes, I have a third YouTube channel, Behind the Battery. But that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching, have a great day and take care. Bye!